Now let's solve question number 41 to 44. The directions for question number 41 to 44 are, each contains the question of two statements, statement 1 and statement 2, which are given you the certain data, and this is a question related to the data sufficiency. Considering the first two given statements, you have to find the answer out of these four options. You have to answer whether if answer 1 is sufficient to answer your question and 2 alone is not sufficient to answer your question. You will mark the answer 2 if 2 alone is sufficient to answer the question and 1 alone is not sufficient to answer the question. 3 will be marked if both 1 and 2 are sufficient, but neither statement alone is sufficient to answer the question. It means to answer the question, both 1 and 2 statements will be required. Moving on to the fourth one, you will mark your answer as 4 if both 1 and 2 together are not sufficient to answer your question. So let's start solving question number 41. So coming to question number 41, it states that you have to answer this question that A, B and C have money with them in the ratio 5:3:1. How much money does B have? Okay, and here in the first statement it states A has ₹60 more than C, and second statement states money with B is 40% less than money with A. You have to mark the answers according to the basic direction of the data sufficiency. So let's solve this. Considering the given condition that money is in the ratio for A, B and C as 5:3:1, so you can consider it as 5x, 3x and x, as it is given that A has 60 rupees more than C. So 5x minus x is equal to 60. On solving this, you will obtain that value of x is equal to 15. If x is equal to 15, then how much money B has? Then in that case, B will have 3x, that is 45. So 45 rupees will be with B. So you can observe, only using the statement 1 you are able to answer this question. The second statement is not required to answer this question. And here, as per the second statement, the money with B is 40% less than money with A. It will not be sufficient to answer the question. So here answer will be option number 1. You can mark your answer as option number 1 because only statement 1 is sufficient to answer your question. Now let's move on to question number 42. It states, what is the cost of each pen? Where the first statement is cost of 6 pens and 5 pencils is ₹30. As per the second statement, if the cost of each pen and each pencil is reduced by 40%, so after reducing it will become 60% of the original. Then the cost of 12 pens and 10 pencils will be ₹36. Let's consider the first statement. According to the first statement, let's consider the cost of pen. Each pen is x and cost of each pencil is y. Considering that, you will get the equation that 6x plus 5y is equal to 30. As per the second condition, you will generate the equation that 60% of 12x plus 10y is equal to 36. So 60% can be written as 60 upon 100, which could be further simplified to obtain the equation as 6x plus 5y equal to 30. So using the statement 1, you have obtained this first equation, and using the second statement, you have obtained the second equation. You can observe both the equations are same. So these two equations are representing the case of infinite many solutions. When you will be solving these two equations, you will find here both are coincident lines and you get infinite many solutions. So in this way, none of these equations is sufficient to answer your question. That's why you will mark your answer as option number 4. So here answer is option 4, which states that both 1 and 2 are not sufficient to answer your question. Now let's move on to question number 43. It states, what is the ratio of savings of A and B? The ratio of income of A and B is 5:6, and the second statement states the ratio of expenditure of A and B is 3:4. Here we have these 4 options. Let's consider that savings will be income minus the expenditure. So as per the condition, you can consider the incomes to be in terms of 5x and 6x. This is for A and this is for B. In the same way, when you consider the expenditure for A and B, let's consider a variable y for their ratio, that will be 3y and 4y respectively for A and B. Now coming to the savings part, the ratio of savings in this case will be definitely 5x minus 3y upon this will be 6x minus 4y. So this is coming out to be the ratio of savings. But you don't know the value of x and y, so you cannot completely say what will be the outcome of this ratio. That's why using the statement 1 or 2 or both, you are not able to obtain the correct answer for this question. That's why your answer is option number 4. So you can say your answer is option number 4. None of them is sufficient to answer your question. Now let's move on to question number 44. It states, what is the ratio of selling price of two articles A and B? Where the first statement is cost price of the article A is equal to selling price of B. Moving on to the second statement, it states the profit made by selling A is equal to 1/5 of its selling price. Let's consider these two statements. So we are considering now the selling price and the cost price for the article A and B. Let's consider a variable here. If you are considering the first statement here, cost price of article A, let's consider cost price of article A to be x. This is equal to the selling price of B. This will be also x. Then it further states that we have to consider the profit of selling A. Let's consider selling price of A is y and cost price of B is z. Let's decode the information given by the second statement. The profit is always selling price minus the cost price. So profit made by selling A will be definitely equal to y minus x, and this is clearly given as 1/5 of its selling price. When you simplify it, you obtain here that we have the condition 4y is equal to 5x, that gives you that y upon x is equal to 5 upon 4. So y upon x is basically ratio of the selling price of these two, and as per this question, you are supposed to obtain ratio of selling price of the two articles A and B. That is clearly obtained by using these two statements. So both these statements will be required to answer this question. You cannot answer this question on basis of one single statement. So using both we have answered this. So answer for this question will be option number 3. So answer is option 3. Now let's move on to our next question.